in a world full of noise, distraction, and endless comparison, the most powerful person is not the loudest, but the most centered. To become magnetic is not about chasing attention. It is about becoming so grounded within yourself that attention naturally comes to you. Mental strength is not built in comfort. It is forged in silence, in discipline, and in the quiet decisions no one sees. Today, we speak about 7 habits that will transform not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. Most people spend their lives trying to control what is happening around them. Yet, they remain strangers to what is happening within them. They react quickly, speak without awareness, and allow emotions to take control without ever questioning where those emotions come from. This is where weakness begins. Not because they lack intelligence or ability, but because they have never trained their inner world. Your thoughts are not random, and your emotions are not accidents. They are patterns built over time, reinforced through repetition. If you do not observe them, they will control you. But the moment you begin to watch your thoughts without immediately believing them, something changes. You create space between who you are and what you feel. In that space, there is power. Because now, instead of reacting automatically, you can choose your response. When anger rises, you notice it before it explodes. When fear appears, you recognize it without letting it paralyze you. This does not mean you suppress what you feel. Suppression creates pressure, and pressure eventually breaks you. Instead, you learn to sit with your emotions, to understand them, to let them pass through you without becoming you. This is control, not the forceful kind, but the calm, steady kind that comes from awareness. A person who has mastered their inner world does not get easily disturbed. It is not because life is easier for them, but because they are no longer at the mercy of every thought or feeling that appears. When someone criticizes them, they do not immediately become defensive. When something goes wrong, they do not collapse into frustration. They pause. They observe. They respond with intention rather than impulse. This level of control is rare. And because it is rare, it is powerful. Your mind will often try to convince you that every thought is important, that every emotion needs to be acted upon. But this is an illusion. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every feeling deserves your reaction. Some thoughts are simply echoes of past experiences. Some emotions are temporary waves that will disappear if you do not feed them. When you begin to understand this, you stop giving your energy to things that weaken you. You become selective with your focus. The practice is simple, but not easy. It requires patience. It requires consistency. You start by observing yourself in small moments. How you react when someone interrupts you. How you feel when things don't go your way. How quickly your mind jumps to judgment or negativity. You do not judge yourself for these reactions. You simply notice them. Over time, this awareness grows stronger. What once controlled you begins to lose its grip. As your awareness deepens, your presence changes. You move differently. You speak with more clarity. You listen more carefully. People may not understand exactly what has changed, but they feel it. There is a calmness in you, a steadiness that cannot be easily shaken. This is the result of inner mastery. It is not something you can fake or force. It is built quietly through discipline and self-observation. When your inner world is stable, the outer world loses its ability to control you. Situations may still be difficult. People may still challenge you, but you remain grounded. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding to it with awareness, with intention, and with control. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. The moment a gap appears in conversation, they rush to fill it. Words come out not because they are necessary, but because they fear being unnoticed, misunderstood, or judged. In this constant need to speak, they reveal more than they understand. They react before they observe. And because of this, their words often carry little weight. A person who speaks without awareness gives away their energy freely while gaining very little in return. When you begin to speak less, something shifts inside you. You become more aware of your surroundings, more attentive to the people in front of you, and more conscious of your own thoughts. Instead of preparing your next sentence while someone else is talking, you start listening fully. You notice tone, body language, pauses, and the meaning behind the words. You begin to understand not just what people say, but why they say it. This level of observation gives you an advantage that cannot be easily seen, but can always be felt. Silence is not emptiness. It is presence. It shows that you are in control of yourself, that you do not need to prove your value through constant talking. When you choose your words carefully, they become more precise, more impactful. People begin to listen when you speak because they sense that you are not speaking out of habit, but out of intention. Your voice becomes steady, your tone calm, and your message clear. Observation sharpens your awareness of patterns. You begin to notice how people behave under pressure, how they react when things do not go their way, how their words align or do not align with their actions. You see what others miss because you are not distracted by the need to constantly express yourself. This allows you to move through situations with clarity. You are less likely to be manipulated, less likely to misunderstand, and less likely to make decisions based on incomplete information. Speaking less also protects you. The more you talk, the more you expose your thoughts, your plans, and your weaknesses to those who may not have your best interests in mind. When you are selective with your words, you maintain a level of control over what others know about you. This does not mean becoming closed or distant, but rather becoming intentional. You share what is necessary, when it is necessary, with the right people. At the same time, silence allows your mind to slow down. When you are not constantly speaking, you create space to think more deeply. Your thoughts become clearer, less reactive, and more structured. You are no longer rushing to respond, so your responses become more thoughtful. This creates a sense of stability within you. You are not easily pulled into unnecessary arguments or emotional reactions because you are grounded in awareness. There is also a quiet confidence that develops when you do not feel the need to speak all the time. You are comfortable being present without performing. You do not depend on external validation to feel seen or heard. This confidence is subtle but powerful. People notice it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you listen, and in the way you respond. Over time, this habit transforms your interactions. Conversations become more meaningful because you are fully engaged. Your words carry more influence because they are not wasted. Your understanding deepens because you are observing more than you are expressing. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the one who truly listens stands apart. Most people wait for the right feeling before they take action. They tell themselves they will start when they feel ready, when they feel motivated, when the mood is right. But motivation is unstable. It rises when things are easy and disappears the moment things become difficult. If your actions depend on how you feel, then your progress will always be inconsistent. You will move forward for a short time, then stop, then start again, always trapped in a cycle that leads nowhere. Discipline breaks this cycle. It removes the need to negotiate with your emotions. Instead of asking yourself whether you feel like doing something, you simply do it because it is part of your standard. This shift is simple, but it changes everything. You are no longer controlled by temporary feelings. You are guided by commitment. What you said you would do becomes more important than how you feel in the moment. In the beginning, discipline feels uncomfortable. Your mind will resist it. It will search for excuses, distractions, and reasons to delay. It will tell you that you deserve rest, that you can start tomorrow, that missing one day does not matter. These thoughts may sound reasonable, but they are patterns that keep you weak. Every time you give in to them, you reinforce the habit of avoiding discomfort. Every time you act despite them, you weaken their control. Discipline is built in small actions, repeated consistently. It is not about extreme effort or sudden bursts of energy. It is about showing up again and again, even when no one is watching, even when the results are not immediate. You wake up when you said you would. You complete what you started. You follow through on your commitments. These actions may seem simple, but over time, they create a foundation that cannot be easily shaken. As you practice discipline, something begins to change within you. You start to trust yourself. You know that when you make a decision, you will follow through. This trust is powerful. It removes doubt and hesitation. You no longer question whether you are capable. because your actions have already proven it. Confidence is no longer something you try to feel. It becomes a natural result of what you consistently do. Discipline also brings clarity. When you act consistently, you begin to see what works and what does not. You are not stuck in overthinking or waiting for perfect conditions. You are learning through action. Each step, even if imperfect, moves you forward. Each repetition sharpens your focus and strengthens your ability to adapt. There will be moments when discipline feels heavy, when the effort seems greater than the reward. In those moments, it is important to remember that discipline is not punishment. It is a form of self-respect. It is the decision to prioritize your long-term growth over short-term comfort. It is choosing who you are becoming over what you feel right now. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes natural. The actions you resisted become part of your routine. You no longer rely on motivation to begin, because starting is no longer a struggle. It is simply what you do. This is where true strength is built, not in moments of inspiration, but in the quiet, consistent execution of what must be done. Regardless of how you feel, most people give their energy away without realizing it. They engage in every conversation, respond to every message, and involve themselves in situations that have nothing to do with their growth. By the end of the day, they feel drained, distracted, and mentally scattered, yet they cannot explain why. This happens because they have never learned to protect their energy. They treat their time and attention as if they are unlimited, when in reality, they are their most valuable resources. Your energy is not just physical. It is mental, emotional, and even spiritual. It is affected by the people you interact with, the environments you stay in, and the thoughts you entertain. Every interaction either gives you energy or takes it away. Every thought you repeat either strengthens you or weakens you. If you are not aware of this, you will constantly feel exhausted, not because you are doing too much, but because you are giving too much of yourself to the wrong things. Learning to protect your energy begins with awareness. You start to notice how certain people make you feel. Some leave you feeling inspired, calm, and focused. Others leave you feeling tense, negative, or drained. This is not something to ignore. Your body and mind are giving you signals. When you pay attention to these signals, you begin to understand where your energy is being lost. This awareness allows you to make better decisions about who you spend your time with and how you engage with them. Protecting your energy also requires boundaries. Boundaries are not about pushing people away or becoming distant. They are about knowing your limits and respecting them. You do not have to say yes to everything. You do not have to explain yourself to everyone. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say no and step back. This is not selfish. It is necessary. When you protect your energy, you are ensuring that you have enough strength to focus on what truly matters. Distractions are another major source of energy loss. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, and unnecessary information pull your attention in multiple directions. Each time your focus is broken, it takes effort to bring it back. Over time, this weakens your ability to concentrate and drains your mental energy. When you become intentional with your attention, you reduce these distractions. You choose what deserves your focus and what does not. This creates clarity and allows you to use your energy more effectively. There is also power in knowing when to walk away. Not every situation needs your involvement. Not every argument needs your response. Some situations only exist to pull you into negativity and chaos. When you recognize this, you stop trying to fix everything. You step back not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that your energy is better used elsewhere. Walking away is not losing. It is choosing peace over unnecessary conflict. As you become more protective of your energy, your presence begins to change. You feel more focused, more balanced, and more in control. You are no longer easily influenced by the emotions of others or the chaos around you. You move with intention and your actions become more aligned with your goals. People may notice that you are less available, less reactive, and more reserved. This is not a loss. It is a transformation. When your energy is protected, it becomes stronger. You have more clarity to think, more strength to act, and more stability to handle challenges. Instead of being drained by everything around you, you become selective. You invest your energy where it brings growth, peace, and purpose. And you quietly remove it from everything that does not. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They search for ease, for convenience, for situations where nothing feels difficult or uncertain. In the moment, this feels safe. It feels natural to choose what is familiar and comfortable. But over time, this habit weakens you. It keeps you in the same place, repeating the same patterns, avoiding the very experiences that would make you stronger. Comfort does not challenge you, and without challenge, there is no growth. Discomfort is often misunderstood. It is not something that exists to harm you, but something that exists to develop you. It appears when you step into the unknown, when you try something new, when you push beyond what you are used to. This feeling of resistance, of unease, is a signal that you are expanding your limits. Yet most people interpret it as a warning to stop. They step back the moment things feel difficult, and in doing so, they return to a place where nothing changes. When you begin to embrace discomfort, your perspective shifts. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid this?" you begin to ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple change in thinking transforms the way you approach challenges, difficult conversations, demanding tasks, unfamiliar situations. These are no longer obstacles to escape, but opportunities to grow. Each time you move toward discomfort instead of away from it, you build resilience. You train your mind to remain steady, even when things are not easy. The process is not about forcing yourself into extreme situations. It starts with small, deliberate actions. You do what you have been avoiding. You take the step you have been delaying. You face the task that makes you uncomfortable. At first, it feels heavy. Your mind will resist. Your body may hesitate. And doubt may appear. But if you stay with it, something begins to change. The discomfort that once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. The fear that once stopped you begins to lose its power. As you continue this practice, your tolerance for difficulty increases. What once felt hard becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes achievable. This is how strength is built, not in sudden moments of success, but in repeated exposure to what challenges you. Each experience adds to your confidence, not because you succeed every time, but because you prove to yourself that you can handle what comes your way. Avoiding discomfort creates fragility. The less you face, the less capable you become of handling pressure. Even small challenges begin to feel overwhelming. But when you regularly step into discomfort, you develop a different kind of mindset. You become adaptable. You trust your ability to adjust, to learn, and to move forward regardless of the situation. This trust removes hesitation. You no longer wait for perfect conditions because you know you can handle imperfect ones. There is also a sense of clarity that comes from embracing discomfort. When you stop running from difficulty, you begin to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. You become more honest with yourself. You recognize your weaknesses, but instead of avoiding them, you work on them. This honesty strengthens you because it removes illusion and replaces it with awareness. Over time, discomfort becomes less of an enemy and more of a guide. It shows you where you need to grow, where you are holding back, and where your limits can be expanded. Instead of fearing it, you begin to respect it. You understand that every step into discomfort is a step toward a stronger, more capable version of yourself, built through consistent effort and the willingness to face what is not easy. And now, understand this clearly. Strength is not something you are born with. It is something you build, moment by moment, choice by choice. Every time you observe your mind instead of reacting, you become stronger. Every time you choose silence over noise, you become wiser. Every time you act without waiting for motivation, you become disciplined. Every time you protect your energy, you become focused. Every time you step into discomfort, you expand beyond your limits. This is not a one-day transformation. This is a path. Some days will feel heavy. Some moments will test you. But the person who continues, despite all of it, becomes unshakable. You do not need to chase power. You do not need to demand respect. When your mind is steady, when your actions are consistent, when your presence is calm and controlled, you become magnetic without trying. So do not wait for the perfect time. Do not wait to feel ready. Start now. Train your mind, discipline your actions, protect your energy, and walk directly into the challenges you once avoided. Because the strongest version of you is not found in comfort. It is built in the quiet moments where you refuse to give up on yourself.